We have some breaking news out of Busch Gardens Tampa, and some news that rather is intriguing because they announced they're closing down the Stanley Falls Flume forever, which is crazy because this area, as you can see at Busch Gardens Tampa, is rather large. More on this and why I think this might have something to do with their next coaster coming up here in a second. Welcome, this is Theme Park Brandon. I'm really glad you're here. Happy Friday. Hope you guys have a great Labor Day weekend. So Busch Gardens just sent this out. They say the last splash for Stanley Falls Flume. After more than 50 years of splashes, smiles, and summer memories, Stanley Falls Flume is taking its final plunge on September 7th, 2025. As one of the original rides from the park's opening in 1973, this classic has been a fan favorite for generations. That says, it doesn't really say anything about well, actually here it does. This is breaking news for me even. Past members and fun card holders, this is your last chance to ride before we say goodbye and make way for an exciting new future attraction. So let's break this down. So, if you've been following a while, Busch Gardens Tampa has been rumored for a long time now that they might be getting a Giga Coaster. A ride that has a 300-foot drop. If you're fans of Orion, if you're a fan of Fury, it has over a 300-foot tall lift hill. No matter how you look at it, this is very exciting because not too long ago, the park sent out a pass holder email or a survey to the pass holders of what type of future attraction would you like to see at the park. And one of them, the most popular one, was a high-speed either Hyper or Giga. Now, what's even more interesting about this, guys, is Stanley Falls Flume. It's a great log flume, by the way. I've always really liked the placement of it. It's a solid layout. It will be missed. But when you pair that with Scorpion, which is located right next to it, now you're talking. This is a huge plot of land. And personally, what I would like to see is a new pathway connecting the Pantopia area as well as the Stanleyville. So I don't go to Busch Gardens Tampa as much as anymore. I don't live in Florida anymore. But the Stanleyville area and the Pantopia area, if they would connect that, would really kind of help with crowd flow, in my opinion. And this area here very well could be for the next coaster station. Why I think that? Well, it's pretty simple, and Iron Gwazi opened in 2021, I think it was, right? Let's look that up. I know it got delayed a few years from COVID, and that was the last coaster that major coaster the park has added. So when you look at things, 2022, sorry. When you look at things, it's even better for this case, guys. Here's why. Tigris was 2019, Iron Gwazi 2022, Phoenix Rising, the Family B&M Inverted Coaster was 24. We already know a new coaster is not coming in 26. Iron Gwazi was mostly paid for back in 2019 because it was built and ready to rock and roll pretty much for 2020. They just delayed it. That's rather good news, I think, because I think 27 is the year. It makes sense. I've heard whispers that, maybe it wasn't whispers, maybe it was blueprints that got leaked that they're planning on basically bringing back the couple family rides that they relocated to make way for Phoenix Rising into an area. And maybe it's on the Scorpion plot of land, maybe. I don't recall exactly where. But if it's not, either way, this is exciting news. The Stanley Falls Flume is going bye-bye, which leaves Busch Gardens Tampa with only one water ride left. I don't like that. So hopefully this is for a coaster, not another water ride. The park definitely needs another water ride, but down the road. With Epic Universe opening and Busch Gardens Tampa already kind of going downhill in a lot of aspects, they need a park president that's going to last more than 3 days. Those animals need some stability in their lives. And this revolving door of a father figure of park president isn't cutting it. So they definitely need to work on that. It's a great park, great market, great weather, year-round operations. But the Giga, if they did the Giga, The station could easily go. Let me move my screen over here so I'm not always constantly looking over. Oh, this is exciting news. So if they did the Giga, here's what I'm thinking. Is the station be located obviously where the Stanley Falls area is, and it could possibly go over this line as you see right here, kind of technically over Kumba's ending, which is not hard to do at all. I mean, parks build rides on top of each other all the time, and then that would free up a whole entire area for the rest of the ride to go about where the employee parking lot is, go around that. You can use the detention pond area. That would be really cool. If it's the Giga. It might not be the Giga. This area is big enough for a coaster that could still be a high thrill coaster, just more of a compact model. But regardless, like they really hyped the Giga as far as the surveys go, or the Hyper. There is room here. We've seen it all the time where parks can build. I mean, look at Diamondback at Kings Island. Who ever thought they would build Diamondback where they did it? So for them to be able to build a Giga, just imagine this coaster lineup here for a second, okay? Iron Gwazi, Giga, Shikra, Kumba, Montu, One Train Ops, Cobra's Curse, Cheetah Hunt. You know, then you go into the lower tier. Like I love Tigress, but like, you know, Phoenix Rising and some of the others. But like, this is a good sign. I'm really excited for this, for Tampa. And I'm very interested in seeing how this develops. Again, don't think something big is coming 26. But I'm shocked that they have two decent sized plot of lands right next to each other with the train tracks going through the middle. So they will have to that is a minor obstacle, but again, that's not hard to do. Look at Iron Menace at Dorney Park. It goes over the train. This is something that you definitely keep your eye on. I would prefer a Giga or a Hyper. Busch Gardens Tampa desperately needs a airtime machine. And whether they go Giga or Hyper, that's probably the best bang for their buck. We could see a Mock Rides coaster. We could see something from Vekoma. There's so many. Intamin. What I would love, personally, it would be something like Pantheon, but with some theming and just a little bit larger of a layout. I think that would look really cool there. But the good news is, I don't think it's a family coaster, guys. I think this is the real deal. Busch Gardens Tampa is due for their next thrill coaster. So I think all eyes are on this area. I mean, why else would they announce this ride being closed when they did? If this is not going to be the plot of land for their next large scale project. In Busch Gardens Tampa, just like SeaWorld and stuff, usually they don't add new rides every single year. So I think 26 will be the kid rides that are being relocated, added back in the park, and then 27 could be the coaster. That's going to give us around 2 years. So all eyes are on this area, guys. What's your thoughts? Are you excited? And if you're curious as to how I rank every single coaster at Busch Gardens Tampa, check out the video at the bottom of your screen. With that said, like my shirt says, you can never have too much airtime. Remember to smile today, think positive, and of course, keep riding coasters.